Hello and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom, and we are going to be talking about the movie Bound to Vengeance. Now, this movie is a horror film of the rape revenge variety, very much like I Spit on Your Grave. So if you're not kind of a fan of those films, this one isn't going to change your mind, but let's discuss if you do like those type of movies. So this one basically focuses on a character called Evie, who basically right at the beginning of the movie is already a captive. So it's a little bit different in the way that it's almost like the last third of a lot of these movies, where the kind of the captive, if you like, escapes and essentially turns the tables on her captors. And this is really that premise in the whole movie, except here it throws a few spanners in the wrench, because right at the beginning of the movie, Evie escapes. She basically overpowers her captor, played by Richard Tyson, doing his best Nick Nolte impression, I have to say, and basically we find out that it's actually a lot larger in scale than she first thought, and there's a variety of different women being held captive by the seeming kind of underground network of these sort of sexual predators. So I would say it's very much a cross between I Spit on Your Grave and Hostel. It kind of reminded me of a mashup of those two movies, and along the way there's a variety of different kind of twists and turns and different things you may not be expecting. So I have to say I really did enjoy the plot here. I thought the plot was you know, an intriguing story, obviously somewhat disturbing, but nonetheless, you know, well executed and well portrayed here. Look, the acting was all quite good, maybe with the exception of Richard Tyson, who I just thought was a little bit too hammy. He's kind of a B-movie staple, but whilst he wasn't bad, I think he came across as a little bit sort of too cartoonish, I thought, for this type of movie. The other, I guess, one minor criticism I would say, maybe it's a little dark. Most of the movie is kind of set in quite low light. We have kind of these flashbacks with kind of which are done via kind of found footage, almost kind of happier times, and they're very much light and colourful when you have the sort of contrast between the kind of the darker, grim scene, so to speak. But sometimes it's a little bit dark. My major criticism here, there are some plot points that I simply couldn't forgive. The main one being here is the lack of police, because I just do not understand why they were not involved in this plot. I mean, I'm sure there's probably some line somewhere that I kind of overlooked, but it just doesn't make sense to me, and it seems such a massive oversight about why they weren't involved. And you know, we hear this kind of there's a couple of lines where Eve basically, she's kind of saying she has to kind of do it herself and stuff like that. But I'm sorry, you know, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. There's just a few things here that seem to be purely for driving the story along, rather than kind of just like really making a believable story as such. But this is a thoroughly engaging movie. I thought it had an original plot and was a good addition to this kind of subgenre, I suppose. And I would say this, you know, if you're a little bit sort of squeamish about this type of movie, we don't see any type of rape on screen here at all. It's all very much implied. That being said, there's obviously a lot of that had been going on in this movie. There are a few scenes where we kind of see women who are obviously held against their will in various different kind of bondage types of situations, and obviously harm has befalled them, although we don't actually see anything on screen itself. So if you kind of felt it was these type of movies not quite for you, I would say this one's a little bit milder, although there is plenty of kind of violence here and blood. It has kind of a bit of a twist ending, which I kind of liked, I have to say. I thought it was quite good. It's somewhat ambiguous. So I really did enjoy the movie. I just questioned some of the decisions made here and there, but overall I think it was a pretty decent movie, and if you like the kind of things like I Spit on Your Grave, then you should definitely check this one out. So I'm going to give this movie a 7 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.